welcome back to the NHL on the Highlight Reel. I'm Smitty, and this is Nick Lynch. This week, we're going to be talking about our predictions for the first round of the NHL playoffs and a recap of the first few games of round one. Let's get started. So in the East, we have Toronto versus Ottawa. It's the Battle of Ontario. Nick, what are your predictions on this one?
Well, I mean, Ottawa's already down 3-0. I don't expect much more from them. Maybe they get a game in Game 4, maybe even 2, but I think Toronto's going to have an easy time closing out
I
this
totally agree with you. They're on sweep watch, so I think Toronto will get it done. I think either play tonight or tomorrow, but I definitely think they'll get the job done. And I feel bad for Brady Tkachuk. He had a great, everybody thought that he was going to bring the same energy he brought for Four Nations that he into this, but it hasn't really been much. But
yeah.
He's a good player, and I could see more come in the next few years from Ottawa, definitely.
Yeah. So up next is the Battle of Florida, Tampa Bay against the Florida Panthers. Smitty, who do you think is going to win?
I think Florida, they're up 2-0. Just Florida's the better. I honestly, ranking, paper-wise, Tampa is the better team, but Florida definitely has the better players. Florida definitely has better team in general. Better, I don't know, goaltending is honestly evenly matched, but I think Florida will get the job done on this series.
Yeah, I think Florida, they're up 2-0, but I honestly think Tampa Bay is going to come back to tie the series. But I agree with you. The Panthers just have the better team. Matthew Tkachuk returning from injury.
Yeah, he had 2 goals and 1 assist in his first game back since the Four Nations. That's what you need from a guy like that.
Yeah, my prediction is Florida in 7.
Next up, we have Washington versus Montreal. I think Washington is going to win this series without a doubt. What do you think, Nick?
Well, I think, first of all, Montreal is putting up a good fight against the Capitals. I mean, that Game 1 really showed it. The Capitals just got a lucky win in overtime.
Yeah, that was a lucky goal by Ovi. Not lucky, but, good hand-eye coordination by Ovi in that overtime goal.
Yeah. I think, I think the Canadians showed that they could play with this team. But I think on paper, Washington's the much better team.
Yeah, but I think it might be a different scenario going back to Montreal. I think the Canadians and their fans, it's just gonna be a different atmosphere for them. So
yeah.
We'll see what happens tonight.
Yeah, I think the Habs get a game, but I'm gonna go with Washington in 5 for this.
I agree.
So lastly is Carolina and New Jersey, the last matchup in the Eastern Conference. Those first 2 games, the first game especially, was not good for the New Jersey Devils, but I think the Devils Game 3 is tonight back in Newark, so I think they could get a game, but I think Carolina is either going to win these next 2 or they're going to win in 5.
Yeah, I think maybe if the Devils have a strong game, if goaltending's good, I think they maybe could get either Game 3 or Game 4, but yeah. I'm still taking Carolina in the win.
Yeah,
either in 4 or in 5.
Yeah.
Then moving on into the West, we have Winnipeg versus St. Louis. I'm going to take the upset here. I know the Jets are a better team, but I think St. Louis I think with Jim Montgomery changing the whole entire atmosphere in that locker room, I think St. Louis will get the job done. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, that Game 3 last night was a terrible game for Winnipeg all around. I mean, 7-2. You can't go in as the President's Trophy winners into Game 3 on the road and lose by that bad.
Yep.
But the Jets, they almost lost Game 1.
Yeah.
I think, Game 2, they had a good win. But Game 3 was the worst game I've seen the Jets play all year.
Definitely. I totally agree. I think that it was just a bad game by them, I think. I don't know what happened for them. So we'll see what happens. And then next up we have Colorado versus Dallas. And I think that with Gabe Landeskog back in the lineup, I think it's just going to be a much different atmosphere. And I think that it's just going to be, Colorado. I know they're down 2-1 right now, but I think Colorado is going to be very good.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the best series out of any one of
By
them.
far, best series out of round 1.
Yeah, I think it's a very competitive match. I mean, the Stars had a tough loss in Game 1, but then they bounced back.
They bounced back. Yeah, they bounced back with those 2 games. Now they're up 2-1. So, and the series is still in Dallas. So,
I think I'm gonna go with Dallas in 7. I think this one's gonna go all the way.
I think Colorado in 7, but it could go either way.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. And then next series we have the Knights versus the Wild. Who do you think will win this series?
I think I'm gonna go with Vegas. But here's the thing, Minnesota. I mean, they've had injuries all year, but if they just stay healthy, I think they can win. But,
Definitely.
But the thing with the Golden Knights, they don't score a lot of goals. Like
No,
they have good goaltending, but I just don't think they have the goal scorers to go very far.
I think the reason why I think they will go far is because they have very good experience.
Yeah.
Unlike the Wild, it's not just on experience. It depends on like who gets hot at the right time.
Yeah.
But I think I really think that Vegas is going to win this series.
Yeah, I'm going to go Vegas in 6 here. I think the Wild will get 2 games, but I have the Golden Knights losing in the next round, whoever they play.
Yep. And then lastly, we have Los Angeles versus Edmonton. Who do you think will win this one?
Well, I think the Canes have – I mean, I said a few weeks ago that the Canes were going to be first-round exits, but those were some 2 very good games by the Los Angeles Canes.
They blew them out both. Or not blow out, but like they played really well in both games.
Yeah, and now the series heads back to Edmonton tonight. But
yeah,
I think, the Oilers have fight in them, especially when they're home. But I'm still gonna go Edmonton in 7. I think the Oilers are gonna come back.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Edmonton will come back. They have the firepower. They have the goal scorer. They have the 2 best players in the world on their team. So I think definitely McDavid and Draisaitl will definitely get the team up and get them rolling in Edmonton.
Yeah.
Now moving on to our predictions, since now you know our predictions, let's talk about the first few games of the playoffs. With games starting this past Saturday, the Jets and the Blues, the Jets won 5-3 and now lead the series, or they led the series 1-0. Mark Scheifele, Kyle Connor both scored both record 3 points. Morrissey had 2. Just a great game by the Jets. Like we said, they had good first game, but the Blues, I think they're coming up. I think they're going to come up with them.
I mean, like I said earlier, that was a great game from St. Louis. I think they could get one more and even up the series, but I think the Jets, they're just a stronger team. They have been all year, so I'm just going to take Winnipeg to win the series.
And then moving on to the other game on Saturday were the Avalanche and the Stars. The Avs won 5-1 with McKinnon with 2 goals and 1 assist. Moving on into the next days, we had the Hurricanes beat the Devils 4-1 to take the series to 1-0 them. So great start for the Hurricanes and bad start for the Devils. But moving on now, we have the Leafs who beat the Sens with a whopping 6-2 win to take the series lead. And then the last game on Sunday was Wild versus Vegas, and Vegas won 4-2. I thought the Wild were in this game, but Vegas just got the upper hand.
Yeah.
And then moving on to start during the week, we had the Caps. They beat them in the first or overtime. I mean, they beat them 3-2. So just a great game for them. But like we said, I think they got lucky.
Yeah.
Definitely. And then they took the series 2-0. And then with their 2-1 and also with their 2-1 win on Monday, they took the series to 2-0.
And then on Monday, Dallas, I mean, they took the series 2-1 in Game 3. And then in the Oilers-Canes matchup on Monday, they eventually won the game, but they won 4-0, but the Oilers walked back into the game in the third. But they got lucky, scoring with 45 seconds left in the game.
Yeah, I think that the Oilers had all the firepower. They came back. McDavid definitely got them up in that locker room like how he did last year in the Stanley Cup finals. So, but unluckily, they weren't able to finish it off. But I think, like we said, I think they definitely still have a shot in this series, and we'll see what comes. The Kings, again, they demolished the Oilers 6-2 in their second game, going up 2-0. And then on Thursday, the Panthers won 2-0 to take the 2-0 lead going back to South Florida. So I think the atmosphere is just going to be insane that game. Yeah. Up 2-0. Kachuk back in the lineup, and with having Bennett and Marchand also there, I think it's going to be a brutal game.
Yeah, I agree.
And then the Leafs won. Now they're up 3-0, and like we said, the Sens are on sweep watch. I don't think they're going to come back, honestly. Like we said before, they either are going to get one game, but I just don't think they're going to come back. It's hard beating a team down 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, no team has ever done it before. A team came back down 3-0. The Oilers almost did it last year in the Cup final, but
yeah, they couldn't get the job done.
Yeah.
Also on Thursday, the Knights lost to the Wild, and the Wild go up 2-1 in the series. The last game we have is the Blues versus the Jets, and like we said, the Blues won 7-2, which puts the series at 2-1 for the Jets. So those are all the games that happened this week. There's still the whole round to go, a lot more games to happen, but that is our predictions and the games for this week. Thank you for watching. See you next time, but stay tuned for Andrew talking about soccer.
Hello, I am Andrew Mirzaaghasi, and I will be talking about soccer. Once again, there's a lot of soccer news to cover, so let's get right to it. Man City. So I know I've been bashing them, but actually this time they actually did pretty good for once. We start off with their match against Crystal Palace, which was 5-2. A whopping 5 goals from Man City. I'm proud of this. This is what I kind of expected of Man City of doing throughout probably the first part of the Premier League season, but that didn't happen. But it's actually possible to get those types of performances, and Man City can cooperate. This is why I'm upset with the team, because they can sometimes pull their stuff together and play a game, and they end up winning, or they ended up not doing that and then just end up losing last second. They just don't cooperate. That's just, plus other factors, plus Ederson, I just don't know why. Their next game that they played was against Everton. It turned out to be very good because it was 2-0. It was embarrassing because we didn't score until the last minute. We just waited till like the last minute just to score these 2 goals. And I guess it is a win, but I expected more action to come out of this team instead of just scoring the last 2 minutes. It's not really. It's a win. That's all I could say. Then their latest match was against Aston Villa, which was 2-1, with Nunez scoring a late goal for the win. Honestly, it was unexpected for that goal to happen, but it was pretty good. They actually won the match instead of tying, so good for them. They actually climbed the ranks, I should say standings in this case. I'll get to that later. But I see that they're pulling their act together, which is a very good thing. However, they're not pulling their act when they needed to do it. Now they're doing it now late in the season, and I think they're not even going to... I mean, they are going to get Champions League status, but it was already over when they lost a lot of games, so they're not winning the Premier League this year. Oh, well. Now we move on to Barca. Barca, in the La Liga, were able to get 1-0 off the gains in the La Liga, only because it was an own goal. I watched this game live, and there were many times where I thought Barca was going to score, but they ended up just not making it. I would say that this was actually a very disappointing match with Barca, which I actually didn't think would happen. But I would say you would get excited, then you would just be saddened that they didn't even score. But at least at the end, Barca would try scoring, but they ended up falling flat. This was luck that they made them win, honestly, because this own goal was the only thing that counted. But moving on, we have the Champions League, the second leg against Dortmund. They lost this game. They lost 1-3. This was their first loss of their whole entire season. I'm not even joking. It's either they tied or they won. And now they lost to Dortmund in the Champions League. However, they're still advancing because they made more goals. Because that happened. So they advanced in the Champions League. I could typically see, I saw Yamal being quite saddened, being disappointed about their performance. I don't blame them. If this is how their performance is going to be in the Champions League, who knows what they will go up against, since they're going up against Inter Milan with Lautaro Martinez. So anything could happen. I just hope that this team would make it to the finals at least, because I think they have a good shot, because if they're able to pull something like 4-0 off against Dortmund, it could be possible. So going back to the La Liga again, there was Celta Vigo, which was very close. This was a comeback game. They were losing 1-3, and they made it back 4-3. It was the most impressive thing ever. And it's thanks to Radolfina, who was able to score in the penalty near the end of the game, giving Barca the win. This was such an incredible game. I sadly couldn't watch it live, but it would have been the most incredible thing to watch. Seeing the highlights was incredible, though. I'll give it that. Very close to another loss, but they were still able to pull through in the La Liga. Now, they did have another game in the La Liga, which was against Morales, 1-0. Thanks to Omo for scoring. If it wasn't for him, then it ended up being 0-0, and I don't think they would be able to extend their lead. This is kind of a little bit bad, however, that in the La Liga, they're scoring less now. I know it's near the end of the La Liga season, but Barca's lead is really getting short, and Real Madrid is getting closer and closer to eventually overtake Barcelona for steering the victory for the La Liga. But I still have confidence that Barcelona would be able to hold on to this position. Now, ending in the United States of America, we have Inter Miami facing Chicago Fire Football Club, which literally nothing happened. It was nothing. No one scored. It was sad because now Inter Miami, with a scoreless game, now ended up dropping more to the rankings. But this is early in the season, so this isn't really a bad situation for them. Their next game in the MLS season was against Columbus Crew, which was 1-0, which, okay, it was 1-0. I wish there would have been more goals, but it's not like a terrible placement in the MLS season. But I know they can climb up the ranks and eventually reach first. They just have to be careful. Now we move on to our standings, in which I would have to say barely anything changed. All I know is that Man City is now in third place now. Congrats, Man City. You were able to pull through and get to at least top 3 status. Meanwhile, everyone below you are basically fighting for what their placement is going to be. 2 placements for Champions League and 1 for Europa. Let's see if you can handle being in third place for a little bit. Because honestly, I have no clue if they're even going to stay in this position. But there's only one way to find out, and as to watch to the very end of the Premier League season. Thank you for watching, but don't go anywhere, as Rocco and Matt will be...
Welcome back to the NBA segment on the highlight reel. The playoffs have started, so we will be covering a couple games from the past round and talk about our predictions for games to come. Let's get started. First, we had the Knicks and Indiana Pacers and the Bucks. Pacers taking this one, 117-98. Your thoughts?
I mean, the Bucks just outmatched from start to finish. You look at what Giannis Antetokounmpo did. He did phenomenal.
36 points.
36 points, yes. Just phenomenal. And especially without Damian Lillard, who is dealing with that thrombosis and a blood clot. Prayers out to him. But you look at the injuries. You look at which team's healthy, which team is better. The Pacers are a better team, and they're better coached. So I don't see any reason why the Pacers shouldn't win this in 6, maybe 5. Depending on how good Damian Lillard plays in his return, it really just kind of depends on who wants it more. The Pacers have had the Bucks number recently, so we're going to see if that continues here in the series.
Moving on, we got your Knicks against the Pistons. Knicks taking this one 123-112. Your thoughts?
I really wish that it wouldn't take a 21-point run, a 21-0 run, I should say, in the fourth quarter to beat a Pistons team that's young, inexperienced, and just not built for the playoffs. But I'll take it. A win's a win. Jalen Brunson, I mean, talk about a guy that's just so clutch. How do you, or I shouldn't even question Jalen Brunson anymore because he might be superhuman. This guy starts out awful, terrible, finishes with 34 points and 8 assists. That is a superstar point guard right there. That is the face of New York basketball. A good win for the Knicks. Hopefully they can finish this up quickly.
Finally, we got the Minnesota Timberwolves taking on the Lakers. Minnesota taking this one. What were your thoughts?
I mean, this game was about as funny as it could get. Anthony Edwards, should I say any more? Look, as for the Lakers, before I touch on the Timberwolves, that was arguably one of the most disappointing and underwhelming playoff debuts for a new team like a superstar in Luka Doncic. It's not that he played terrible, but you want to win. And instead, the Minnesota Timberwolves came into your court, and they destroyed you. LeBron couldn't save him. Luka couldn't save him. Austin Reeves especially couldn't save him. I looked for the Timberwolves. Dante DiVincenzo, who I really miss in New York, he brings that toughness, that grit that the Wolves desperately needed, especially when they lost Karl Anthony Towns in the trade with us, and they need that. He can shoot the three. He's clutch, and he just and he steps up in big moments. Now, they didn't need him in big moments yesterday when they played the Lakers in Game 1, but I look at it like, do the Wolves have it in them to beat the Lakers, to stun the Lakers on the road in another series? I just believe the Timberwolves may be better than we thought. After all, it's worth mentioning, they only finished with one less win than the Lakers on the season, and they're 3 seeds lower than them. So we'll see. I hope the Wolves win because that would be just a stunning, stunning upset in the opening round.
Now, I know you covered a little bit, but do you have any big changes happening in the coming games or any things that we should look forward to seeing?
I don't know if I see anything really changing. Now, I get it. The Wolves are up 1-0, but personally, I still have the Lakers in 6. The Knicks, I think, should still beat the Pistons, and honestly, I don't know if the Pacers are going to beat I don't even know if the Bucks are going to win a game against the Pacers. They look out of it. So overall, I see most of the same things staying the same, and we get the right winners to move on to round 2.
Well, that's all for this week, but don't go anywhere because next up is Myles and Luke on some more of the NBA.
Welcome back to the highlight reel. Today we'll be talking about the first round of the NBA playoffs. Luke, start us off with your Knicks.
Yep. So, honestly, so far in the 2 games in that series, Knicks have not played well yet. They played about 1 good quarter of basketball, and it was the end of Game 1 where they went on a 21-0 run to somehow steal that game away. But then Game 2 was terrible. I mean, the whole time they just didn't really play well. The fourth quarter, they showed up a little bit, made it close, but then Dennis Schroeder at a 3 basically ended the game. Knicks still had chances after that. They had chances the whole time. It's just have to play better.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd place most of the blame on 2 people.
Two people they traded for this offseason, I would say. Bridges and Towns.
Bridges, Towns, and I'd also say Thibodeau.
Yeah, Thibodeau too. Thibodeau has to have an offense. The offense can't just be give Brunson the ball and let him go figure it out. Brunson's a great player. Brunson's one of the best players in basketball, maybe the best in the playoffs. I mean, but it can't just be him. You have to get other guys involved. Bridges, obviously, remember last year, DiVincenzo, Game 2 against Philly. They were down the whole game. Basically, same thing. Had that 3, giving them the lead with the same amount of time left as Bridges had on that look that would have tied the game. DiVincenzo hits that 3, toughness. Bridges misses, and yeah, there's not much else to say.
I don't think it's entirely Bridges' fault. I mean,
It was a wide open 3.
He shouldn't be the one taking the 3, though.
Yeah, because everyone was on Brunson. Brunson went to the basket. He was wide open.
And that should be Karl Anthony Towns.
But that's why you traded for Bridges. He has to hit that shot. I don't care who you are. Anyone on the court has to hit that shot. Unless you're like Mitchell Robinson out there. Anyone else should be hitting that shot.
Yeah, I'd like to talk about Karl Anthony Towns here. 10 points in Game 2. I mean, come on.
It was less the scoring and more the shots. He took 3 shots in the entire second half and didn't score.
He's really not a good playoff player.
But, like, they're putting Tobias Harris on you Tobias Harris and Paul Reed are guarding you the entire game. You have to – I don't even care if you're not making them. You have to be getting shots up. You're a great player. You have to be taking your shots.
Yeah, he plays like he's in a Disney movie. Everything with him is just so over-exaggerated and over the top.
He does get hit every time he goes to the basket.
He flops so much.
Bickerstaff after the game basically said they're just going to keep hitting Brunson. We'll see what happens.
Because nobody else can score. We need Deuce. 10 points off the bench would help a lot. I don't know.
Has to have an offense.
I don't know if you want to play Shannon.
I don't even care. Like, these guys aren't creating for themselves. Deuce McBride's a good shooter when he's catch and shoot and open, not go dribble around for 15 seconds and take a shot. That's the whole offense, is giving one person the ball, having them dribble and shoot. There's no actual offense to it.
I still think you guys take the series because the Pistons are just too inexperienced.
I think we win it. Hopefully 5, maybe 6.
I say 6.
But if they play like this, they're not beating Boston. They might not win a game against Boston like this.
Yeah. So moving on to the Rockets-Warriors series, the Warriors won Game 1, 95-85. Game 2 is tonight. Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry, they were the whole Warriors. It was a 2-on-5 the entire night, but the Warriors won because Steph he's incredible.
Playoff Jimmy is real, I guess.
Playoff Jimmy is very real. He had 25. Steph had 31. But Draymond Green, I mean, he did everything he could. He was guarding Sengun the entire game, and he was really good. Speaking on Sengun, he needs help. Like,
Jalen Green has to be that guy. Jalen Green's been their guy all year. He had an off night. We'll see if they could come back tonight and win tonight. I mean, they have to. You can't go down 0-2 at home. Then the Warriors will finish it out in 4, maybe 5.
Yeah, I mean the
You
Warriors.
need this one tonight.
I feel like this is kind of the exact same thing as the Warriors versus Kings series 2 years ago, where the Kings were the higher seed, and they were just so unexperienced that they
Yeah.
couldn't deal with the Warriors.
Yeah, this Rockets team is good, but they need. I mean, Jaclin Green, he's the guy who has to be a superstar. He has been during the regular season, but first playoff game did not look like that guy.
Yeah, it was just Sengun, and then nobody else scored over double figures. That
Yeah.
can't happen.
Yeah. So moving on to the Heat versus Cleveland series. Cleveland won game 1, 121-100. The Heat don't really have a shot. Cleveland's the best team in basketball, at least record-wise. They're not going to lose to the Heat.
Yeah, I mean, I still think the Heat get a game because they're so well coached by Eric
Yeah,
Spoelstra.
there's a chance. But between Donovan Mitchell, Garland, Evan Mobley, like, there's just no real Bam Adebayo that he got and Tyler Hero, but, like, they're not. Besides that, they got Wiggins, too.
Yeah, they're playing for trade
They're-
value.
Yeah.
I mean, there's really
They didn't really want to
yeah.
win at some point this year. They benched Butler for no reason and then traded him.
I still think Khalil Ware is very good.
He's very good.
But they, in terms of matchups, they do match up well with Mobley and Allen,
Yeah.
Adebayo and Ware. But
yeah, they do, but they're not.
they
winning
just
this
don't have
series.
enough offense.
Yeah. Cleveland's that good. Cleveland, it's not nothing against the Heat, just Cleveland's a really good team, and they're not going to lose this series.
Yeah. So moving on to the Oklahoma City versus Memphis Grizzlies series. I mean, why even bother watch the games? The first game, game 1, 50-point win for the OKC Thunder. They're just the most complete team in basketball. Not
Yeah.
saying they're the best or they're
They
my
are.
finals favorite.
They're
but
the best.
they're just so deep. They have like 10 guys.
I think it's almost a disappointment if they don't at least go to the championship this year. I mean, they've been the best team in basketball all year. They got a super lineup out there. They built it the right way. It wasn't exactly tanking. It was more just trading well. They were bad for a while, but not like the Pistons bad. Like the Pistons were worst team in basketball for 5 years to get all these guys. Oklahoma City traded well, traded for Shea. They got Chet with the draft pick, but that's about it.
Yeah, but Memphis,
Memphis isn't good
they're
enough.
terrible.
Yeah.
John Morant, he's so like just
John
terrible.
Morant's good. It's the rest of the team. They're not. Oklahoma City shouldn't lose a game.
They shouldn't. I mean, anything
They
could
might.
happen.
They might
but
lose one in Memphis, but it'll be 5 at most. I don't know if it gets there.
If they had Marcus Smart, this wouldn't have happened. This would Marcus Smart, he would not stand for this. But Jaren Jackson's got to play better. Zach
Yeah.
Edey, he's 7'5". You know what I'd do if I was 7'5"? I'd just post up and get to the rim every play.
And
But it's
Oklahoma City has exactly the Knicks are missing, and that's Isaiah Hartenstein's toughness.
yeah. If you guys had iHeart, you guys
Yeah.
would be up 2-0.
They need that toughness. That's what the Knicks don't have. That's what Oklahoma City got this offseason because they knew they needed it, and that's what they have now.
So good. They're just
Yeah.
easily deepest team in basketball.
Yeah.
So that's all we have this week on the highlight reel. We're gonna see you next week.